one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just stoned? But go ahead and have a seat. It's my pleasure to introduce to you our host today. Every Sunday Assembly has a host, and this one's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Chris Terrell.
Good morning.
Morning. Hey.
Once a month, guys, we get to do this Sunday Assembly Nashville, and I think I can guarantee you we are the only one that will sing Ghostbusters. So once a month, the whole idea is that we come here to live better, help often, and wonder more. And the way it works is we have a speaker that comes out and talks to you. We have a reading, which we're going to get to shortly, and then we have some general announcements. We're going to keep it pretty simple. We'll get you out of here, and then we're going to go have lunch because I'm hungry. Okay? We're going to kick things off with one of our organizers, Mr. David Lyle, who is going to share some Robert Frost with us. Welcome, David.
Mending wall.
Microphone!
I got some feedback.
Is that a crank? You gotta use the microphone.
Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen groundswell under it, and spills the upper boulders into the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have a rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. The gaps I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time, we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go. To each, the boulders that have fallen to each. And some are lows, and some so nearly balls, we have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side. It comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. He is all pine and I'm apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across to eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down, I could say. Elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me. Not of woods only and the shade of trees. He will not go behind his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well, he says it again. Good fences make good neighbors.
So I heard Socrates said that the unexamined life is the life not worth living. I think that's a bit dramatic, personally, but part of our goal here is to help you wonder more. And each Sunday Assembly is allowed to do that however they see fit. And today we have the pleasure of having Professor Robert Talese here with us. And I did him the favor of Googling him. And as it turns out, he is a professor of philosophy and also chairs the board, or sits on the board as well.
The chair of the department.
He's the chair of the department of the philosophy.
Which means I'm a very unlucky guy.
At Vanderbilt, and today he is here to talk about, he's also a political theorist, and today, as is the goal of philosophy, he's here to help us wonder more. Welcome, you're very unlucky.
Well, thank you, and it's real nice to be here. Am I close enough to the microphone?
No.
No. Now am I close enough?
Somebody there you go.
Oh,
Next
right.
to you.
Yeah, I'm a short guy. That works?
Yep, right
Good,
up.
thanks. So thank you, and thanks for the invitation. The title of this very short talk here is The Ethics of Citizenship. And this title might sound peculiar because we're inclined to think of politics as a winner-take-all conflict between competing interests, something more like a football game, where the sole aim is to win and the only rule is to not get caught cheating. Indeed, especially in contemporary democracy, politics feels like a game. There are teams, there are game plans, there are coaches and trainers, and there are winners and losers. And further, as citizens, we're inundated with appeals from parties and lobbies and commentators, and the appeals are designed to get us to pick sides and to root and cheer. In a democracy, we root and cheer with our votes. So the idea of an ethics of citizenship may seem odd. You might ask, could there be an ethics of cheerleading? The answer to that question seems no. But there is a crucial sense in which I think in a democratic society, politics is not a game, and citizenship is not akin to cheering for a political party or a policy. This difference, which I'll get to in a moment, accounts for the fact that our activities as democratic citizens are subject to moral assessment. We can act immorally in our role as citizen. Let me explain that, and I'll have to back up just a little bit. Democracy is a philosophical response to an age-old problem. The problem is this: how can there be political rule among individuals who are free and morally equal? Political rule, after all, is always coercive. The state, when it acts, forces individuals to do things they otherwise would not do, they otherwise do not want to do, they might think it's not required of them to do, and so on. But if we're naturally free and morally equal, no one is anyone else's subordinate, and no one is anyone else's boss. Political rule, then, seems inconsistent with our individual freedom and moral equality. That is, it seems that wherever there's a political state, there's an unacceptable violation of individual freedom and equality. Now, that argument that I just sketched lies at the heart of a view known as philosophical anarchism, and this is the view that denies the existence of political authority. It says states don't have authority, they just have power. Now, I'm not going to engage with that position here, but it is a very serious position. Rather, my point is that democracy is an attempt to reconcile political rule with the freedom and moral equality of all citizens. The contours of the reconciliation, I think, should be familiar to you. In a democracy, the will of the state is, in some sense, the will of the people. We must obey the law because, in a democracy, the laws are, in some sense, self-imposed. The identification of the political will with the popular will is supposed to render the state's rule consistent with the freedom and equality of all the citizens. Now, there's obviously a lot more to say about democracy, and even the little that I have said is sufficient to raise a vast number of very, very difficult questions. For example, one wonders what the phrase "in some sense" that I stressed in the formulation a moment ago twice, what it really comes to. A political philosopher can earn his living thinking about that question alone. Trust me, I know. I leave this aside, though. It's a difficult matter, but we'll leave it aside. Though it is frighteningly difficult to produce a complete analysis of the core democratic idea, The democratic identification of the political will with the popular will must involve something like the following. Political rule is or must be accountable to those who are ruled by it. In other words, when we claim as Democrats that the laws are in some sense self-imposed, we mean, at least in part, that the reasons for the law are accessible to us as free and morally equal citizens. That is, in a democracy, when the state acts, it forces some citizens to do things they otherwise wouldn't do, and this exercise of force is consistent with the citizens' freedom and equality, provided that the state can justify its actions in a way that recognizes the citizens' freedom and equality. What a mouthful. In a nutshell, when the state acts, it owes us a justification. And that justification may not take the form of an appeal to a supposed superiority of some individuals to others, nor may it rely on the premise that the citizens are merely the subjects of the state. Similarly, the state cannot treat us like children, offering us as its reason for acting because I said so. Moreover, it cannot appeal to controversial moral and religious ideas that citizens are at liberty to reject. The Pope says so. Scripture commands it. These are not reasons of the right kind for the state to act. That is, when the state acts, it must address us individually as free and equal moral persons. Our freedom and equality mean that we are to be regarded as equal, autonomous moral agents with our own lives to author according to our own values, within very broad constraints. When the state acts in ways that cannot be justified on these grounds, it merely pushes us around, and it therefore commits injustice against us. Now again, a political philosopher can spend his entire career trying to make sense of these thoughts. Again, I know. But once more, leaving important complications aside, the point works coming from the other direction. If the state owes us reasons of the right kind for its actions when it acts, and there is some sense in which we are the state, then part of the justificatory burden falls to us as citizens. Think of it this way. When we vote, we tell the state what to do. In order to avoid injustice, the state, when it acts, must act only when it can account for its behavior in a way that's consistent with the freedom and equality of all citizens. Now draw the implication. Just as it's wrong to tell someone to do something that it would be wrong for them to do, it's wrong for a citizen to tell the state to do something that can't be justified in terms that respect the freedom and equality of all citizens. Hence, there is an ethics of citizenship, a set of distinctive moral duties that fall to us in our role as citizens. To be more specific, when we act as citizens, that is, when we vote, lobby, campaign, debate, or protest, we must trade in reasons and arguments that address our fellow citizens as the free and morally equal partners in self-government that they are. Accordingly, when a citizen votes on the basis of reasons that are not consistent with recognizing the freedom and equality of all citizens, that citizen acts immorally. Such a citizen is exercising her political power in a way that instructs the state to merely push other people around, or in a way that instructs the state to do something that states are not morally permitted to do. Now, I suspect you've anticipated the broader implication of the ethics of citizenship for our country's troubled tendency to mix religion and politics. In the football conception of democracy with which I began, religious affiliation is a hot commodity among political strategists. They try to tie political views tightly to citizens' religious identities. They try to convince citizens that their religious commitments entail that they support some particular political agenda. And it's obvious why this is a winning tactic for producing desired voting behavior. The trouble is that those of us who favor a more strict separation of religion and politics often make the mistake of thinking like the political strategists. We proceed as if the way to defend the separation is to attack our fellow citizens' religious commitments. To be sure, there are discussions worth having about the value of religious belief. But as citizens, we're bound to respect our fellow citizens' commitments, even those that we think are mistaken. The idea of an ethics of citizenship helps us to address the difficulties emerging out of the religion and politics mix without impugning citizens' religious commitments. It allows us to say that regardless of our religious and moral differences, when we act as democratic citizens, we owe to each other a distinctive moral duty, the moral duty to trade in reasons that recognize the freedom and moral equality of all, even those with whom we disagree. Thank you.
There could have been a more poignant time to have you come and speak to us. Thank you again. Let's take a moment to reflect on that while I invite the band back up here to play something else for us.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rain? A smile from the veil. Do you think you can tell? Sing with me, guys. Did they get you to trade your heroes for gold? Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Did you exchange your walk on hard in the wall for a lead role in a game?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we've reached this little part we like to call trying my best. And it's when we invite someone up here to share a small part of their personal story and what they're going through. And you know him as the guy that came down here playing sax during Ghostbusters and rocking a penny whistle just now. He's actually a close friend and a really important part of our community here. He helps organize this, he runs the sound, and he really cares about our little community. And he's going to share with us today. This is Mr. Franco Hashiguchi.
Thank you, Chris. Very lovely introduction. And you look really nice in that video, by the way. All right. So oh, very nice today. Good point, Steve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is talk about how music and dancing in my head sort of goes with life. In particular, about intentional living. People these days hopefully are talking about, oh, we're too scattered, we need to like really focus. So part of focusing is, being able to focus. So for example, with playing music or dancing, there are rules you need to follow. You need to learn the rules so you can break them later. So you find the rules, learn them, either on your own or with other people. You also practice those rules, both with other people and in your own home, by yourself. And as you go through things, you might have to make little adjustments. If I'm practicing my scales, if I make a mistake, ooh, you just sort of pause and you go back and you do it right. And if you have to pause and do it right a few times, fine. Now in real life, if you're on stage or if you're dancing, you make a mistake, well, you can either throw up your hands, say a bunch of curse words, and stomp off. Or you can man up or woman up and just do it right. If there's no time for stopping the music, then you just pause inside your head and keep going. So for example, if I'm on the dance floor with somebody, and I'm usually the leader because I'm the guy, but that can go both ways. Wait, that didn't sound good. Anyway, so if I'm the one leading the other person, and we're doing some swing dancing, ballroom dancing, waltzing, whatever it is, and oh my, I've made a mistake. I've now led my partner into territories where we ain't on the beat anymore. We're like floundering. Sometimes you just gotta go, hey, let's pause. Listen, feel the groove, stomp back into it. And that's how life should be also. You should learn the rules, you should know what steps should be, you should practice them, either with other people or by yourself, and you should go find like-minded folk to do these things with, and be accepting and loving and trusting, and if you make a mistake, you smile and you correct your mistake. And that's life. You correct your mistakes and you keep it going, and next time you'll make a few less mistakes. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Try that again.
All right, I have to ask you guys for money now. It's an undeniable fact of putting this thing on and making sure that you guys have a place you can come to. We have booked this building through June, so we have a home. That was something that was important to us coming on our 1 year anniversary, which is going to be next month. We will have been around for 1 year. made it through, and we're looking to grow and get bigger in the new year, and we need your help to do that. David, right in the front, he has a cauldron and a wooden bowl.
Cauldron and a salad bowl.
A cauldron and a salad bowl. And please, this building takes $500 every month just to have it. And we do things, this is not all we do. We do the celebration once a month. Once a month every Saturday we have coffee and donuts where we buy you guys donuts with your own money. So please. We also take cards, checks. Tanya is standing right at the door right there if you have a credit card. We're also set up to take recurring donations if you want to go NPR style on this. You can do that as well.
We're a legitimate nonprofit too, guys. We have tax exempt status.
Right.
So,
You can deduct it.
All right, just a few more announcements. I'm going to let them play their last song and we'll wrap it up. So once a month we also do a service project where we do that whole help often part of our motto. Sometimes we go feed the homeless, and this month we're actually going to go clean up our section of a creek. So get your waiters and meet us at West Park. It's going to be next Saturday at 9 a.m. Ashley, anything you want to add to that?
That's it. If you have questions, you can see me.
If you have questions about that, you can see Ashley. The details are also posted on Facebook and Meetup. Grab a business card as you leave and log on and find out what we're up to. We have coffee and donuts that I was just talking about coming up on the 25th of this month at Windmill Hill at Shelby Park. Again, all the details online. If you want to volunteer, you can do that because we need help. See Ashley, or you can sign up with Tanya out there. You can volunteer with putting this thing on. If you have singing skills and you want to come sing, or any part of this that you want to be a part of, you can do that. We also have kids upstairs and a teen group. So if you guys have teenagers that you just didn't bring because they didn't think it was cool enough, or whatever, we do have a teen group that meets upstairs 9:30 a.m., half an hour before the assembly starts. You can bring them to do that. And I'm going to let them play their song. Meet me at the San Antonio Taco Company for lunch after this. Everyone's going to be there. Everyone, all of you, seriously. If you don't know where it is, just follow the group of everybody else walking that way out the building.
Walk to it.
Yeah.
don't try to park. If you park here, just
We're tricking you into exercise. That's what's happening. We care about you. No, this is something we do after each assembly. We always hang out, eat lunch, and we get to talk. That's really the reason we're here. All right? The unnamed Sunday Assembly Band. We have Deb, we have Bill, Adam, Ray, Scott, Ben, Marina, and Steven.
Chris, can you sign up online and just have a regular donation come out every month or anything? Is that available?
That is NPR style. Yes, you can.
Oh,
We've got
okay.
the laptop
I missed
out
that.
there, recurring donations. Yes, in case you didn't get that. You can make a recurring donation. $5, $10, $1.50, however much you want to give us continually, you can do that right outside the store. Thank you.
yeah, give it up for Chris. Thank you very much, Chris. So we've got not one but two songs left to do. So I'm going to need you all to stand up because we're going to go back to when I was in high school. You'll figure it out probably. But some great songs to get us up and running before we start tearing down and get over here to the restaurant. So let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. No one told you that was gonna be this way. Time to joke and go, your love flies the away. Like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to fall, I'll be there for you. Like I've been there before, I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too. You're gonna have to keep up with this one.
2, 3.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and I hit the ground running. It'll make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You never know if you don't go. You never shine if you don't glow. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get a game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Always shooting the stars. Sound great. It's a cool place, and they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now, but until it gets older. But the media man makes a difference, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice you skate is getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. The world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never